Let's see.
And there we go. We are live for another episode here, Whiskey Thursday, inside the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight, we got an awesome show because we've got somebody here that nobody knows. And this guy is blowing up. Not only that, he's got a full-time job and he's got over 100 clients. So we're really excited here to figure out what the hell is this guy doing that we can't do. So,
right?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm really excited about this.
No, this one's going to be a lot of fun. And if you guys are watching live right now, you know the drill. Hashtag live in the comments down below. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments down below.
Yeah, somebody can drop a comment. Let us know we're live.
We are definitely live.
Oh, we are? Okay, good. Awesome. And listen, if you're tuning in from Facebook or anywhere else, make sure to come check us out in the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. We are one of the fastest online growing communities for real estate marketing. And we got guys like Todd Taylor here inside the group. And we're super pumped tonight. Todd, welcome to Whiskey Thursday. This is your first appearance here. Really excited to have you. Thank you so much for taking an hour, 2 hours to come on the show tonight. I know you're super busy. But we really appreciate your time here, and it looks like you're actually drinking tonight with us.
Yeah, I've brought one. I mean,
that's what he said. What are you drinking tonight, Todd?
So this is Powers 12-year, and then
12-year what? We had to clarify this earlier because there's multiple.
John's Lane Release 12-year Irish whiskey,
Love it.
Straight from Ireland, and then Old Smoky, which is from Tennessee, and Bird Dog, which is from Walmart, and then Busch Light in case I run out.
If you run out,
you got 3 bottles there. If you run out, we're all in trouble.
No, if he runs out, I think we're gonna do good here because I mean the whole point. I mean, we started. You remember how we started this show, right, Matt?
Oh yeah.
Like what this was before we were going live, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it was myself, Matt, and Austin Whitaker way back, and we'd hang out in our basements drinking whiskey. And we were on calls and we were talking about marketing and strategizing and figuring out how we're going to make a bunch of money. And we're like, hey, why don't we jump on, just go live and we'll build a group and we'll do that, every Wednesday or every Thursday or whatever. And that Whiskey Thursday was kind of born from that. But eventually what we figured out is when we get guests on, the more they drink,
the more I spill.
They spill.
Exactly. In a good way.
This is also perfect.
For anybody who's watching, we do have a special going on right now. If you are interested in getting into the Academy, Todd is one of the members of the Academy, and we're going to talk more about that later. But we do have a special right now for basically the first 10 people to get in before the 31st. You're going to get a one-on-one coaching call. Also, we're going to do a 4-week coaching program for the Academy starting in September that we're really excited about. You can find a post on that inside of the group. Just go ahead and go in there. It's right there. And with that, we'll keep going. There's our pitch for the night, right, Shane?
Woo-hoo. That's right. So we've got Franklin here that's watching live. Austin, what is up? Good to see you. Peter's here as well. Angel's here. Gustavo. Guys, if you're watching, let us know. Let's get some engagement going because, the more people we have here, the more exciting it gets. The more exciting it gets, the more secrets we get to unravel. So, we need some engagement, guys. Let us know if you're watching live, just hashtag live, and let us know where you're watching from. And if you, if you're really serious about Whiskey Thursday, let us know what you're drinking. Funny thing is, I spoke to somebody the other day, and they were telling me how every Thursday night they watch the show and they crack a bottle of wine, which is really cool.
She said she drinks with us.
Yeah,
I used to do that in the airports because I would always be in an airport on every Thursday when beta was going on.
Oh, nice.
The airport bar and whatever they had, I would drink and have the AirPods in. I couldn't see you guys, but I'd listen.
Absolutely love it. That's awesome.
Well, hashtag get mad a shirt. I like that, Gus.
Okay. Here's the deal on the shirts. Shirts have been ordered. I just got confirmation today that they have shipped. So, yeah, Matt, you're gonna have your shirt for next episode here of WT. So that's awesome. Mike King is here. What is going on? We got Art that just tuned in. Luke, you're a little early.
Yeah, he's way earlier than he normally shows up.
Come at the end of the show, get all your prizes and
must be really
gifts
excited
and shit like that at the end of the show. Gus is
also,
here.
let's have, hashtag new if this is your first time watching. I'd love to see that.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Everybody that I see here, people that are typically come in and are here every Thursday. But it's great. It's nice to see everybody again. And I think tonight's going to be, one of those episodes where we're going to look back on this and it's going to be like, wow, there's been a lot of value, a lot of interesting stuff shared here, because I want to read this off again. Okay. Todd Taylor, if you don't know who he is, he's one of our Academy members. Todd, you started with the second version of the beta program or the first version? I can't remember if it was the original.
Second version.
So the second one, Matt was around, right? When Matt and I re-released the beta
program. It was when you were bringing it.
Because I remember you and I had the coaching call, right? We were offering coaching calls.
Right.
We were part of that.
Who's this Matt guy? I don't know.
Yeah, nobody knew who Matt was. Okay. So that was probably
Art is new. Art is new.
Art, what is going on? Yeah, woo! All right. We got another one converted.
Sorry, continue.
That's awesome.
I forgot to do the race.
So this was probably about a year and a half ago. At the time, you were traveling quite a bit. You were working a full-time job, and you were kind of trying to figure out this whole. And in fact, actually, when we had the coaching call, and I'll be completely honest, when I was talking to you, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's way smarter than I am. And it is the truth. I mean, just the stuff that you were doing, right? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that stuff, but let me read this off because this is crazy. Okay. So Todd, our guest tonight, currently has over 100 clients, 100 active clients right now, with a sales team, but no VAs. So you're essentially, you're doing all of this with the sales team and no VAs, right?
No, he lied.
What's that?
As of 2 weeks ago, one VA.
Oh, right. As of 2 weeks ago, right? Because it's
I had to. I couldn't.
A little while ago.
I tried.
Not only that, but so you spent the past 3 years learning, testing, tweaking product deliverables, and now you can have a brand new client built and running in 13 minutes, which is crazy. So we're going to talk about that stuff too, because I'm really, really interested in finding out. Because I know, typically we can get ads up and running in about 20 minutes or so, but that doesn't include like the onboarding, like all the phone calls we got to make, all that other garbage we got to go through with with clients, which is a lot, right? It's time consuming. In addition to that, which is even crazier, is that you work a full-time job, right? You travel all around North America. I don't know if you travel around the world, but you basically travel all over the place, right? You've got 3 kids under 5 years old, 3 kids under 5, right? You're married, you're a wonderful wife, and you're basically still running. No,
you left out the golf part. That's the most important.
Oh, the golf, yeah, and sorry. And you once shot a 79.
Thank you.
Which is not bad for a 9-hole course.
Oh,
you gotta give it to you.
Still though, it's still not bad.
Oh man,
incredible, unbelievable. I mean, it's and this just goes to show. I'm assuming you've got systems in place. You've got obviously some strategy around everything that you're doing here. You got a small sales team put together. Now you have a new VA because obviously, when you sort of hit that threshold, it just can't continue on, right? But
back to the golf.
What's that?
Most full-size course range from 69 to 74 as par. That is actually really good. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that course was it was 71 was par, and I only cheated on like 8 holes. It was pretty good.
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. We won't let that slide. All right. Anyway, sorry, Shane.
Well, no, that was it. I was on my rant. It's all good. So for those of you that are listening, if you want to hear this story, make sure to let us know. Make sure to keep the engagement going here. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll call you out. If you're from Detroit, we'll make fun of you. But otherwise, we'll just. It's okay though, because Matt's moving. It's okay. Matt's moving. It's all good. You're coming to Canada finally, right?
Yeah, I'll be a little closer.
A little closer, yeah.
A little closer.
Awesome, good stuff. Well, first of all, Todd, again, thanks so much for joining us on Whiskey Thursday. Really, really appreciate you spending some time with us. Where are you from?
So I'm from Michigan. I actually grew up. Matt's in Detroit, so I was about 2.5 hours.
Making fun of Detroit, and our poor guest is from Detroit.
I don't go to Detroit, but 2.5 hours west, and then I went to school in the corner of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio, small little D3 school, and I went there for wrestling. And then met my wife, and we ended up moving away after college, and then we had kids, and it's like, well, do I want to live by my parents or her parents? And we live by her parents now. So I'm down in Indiana now, about 3 minutes from my mother-in-law, who I love very, very much. In case she sees this, I love her very, very much.
I think that happens to all of us, right? Matt, you're close to your in-laws as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Free babysitter is, you just can't beat
No, it's
it.
way easier. Way easier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about sort of your journey a little bit. Like, go back a bit in terms of like what you were doing before you got into this, marketing for real estate. And then I think we want to sort of, understand why. We always want to know, why does anybody ever get into this industry or this niche, right?
Yeah. So I went to college to wrestle. Like that's what I went there for. And my knee exploded, and then I had to leave the team because I couldn't do it anymore. Like I lost it. But I am the only undefeated wrestler at that school, right? So I do have that record. I'm 1-0, completely undefeated, the only undefeated wrestler there. But I went there for electrical engineering, right? Which is designing power grids and cords and things like that. And I learned that I was colorblind, and you can't really wire stuff up when you're colorblind because you electrocute yourself every day.
How'd you learn that?
I guess. So I was like, well, I'm good at this programming thing. So I got my degree in computer science. Mm-hmm. And because I had to leave the team, I lost scholarships and all that. So I was like, well, I got to figure out how to make money. So I started learning how to make money online, kind of like how everybody does, right? And got into I don't know if you guys know Pat Flynn, but he's
Smart Passive Income,
right? Yep. That's where everybody seems to get their start.
Yeah.
And at the time I was taking a class on building websites, and it just all kind of fell together. And I ended up getting hired by a guy to make websites from my dorm room. And I had my feet on a case of Busch Light, coding a website. Then I go out and play volleyball for a couple hours and come back and finish it. And that's kind of what started me into the internet marketing space. Right.
Okay.
And then I eventually moved from websites because I could do websites for $9-10 grand a piece but I would do them all myself. Right. And it was all like hard coded. WordPress wasn't a thing back then.
Yep.
It was all code. And then I figured out, okay, these websites suck without SEO. And so I started an SEO agency. And while I was in college, I figured out, okay, affiliate SEO is the way to go. And for those of you that know Panda and, I'm drawing a blank on the other one. What were the Google slash?
Penguin,
yeah, Panda and Penguin.
Was a big one. Panda
and Penguin took a lot of money out of my pocket. And then I switched to client SEO. Did the client SEO thing for probably 3 years. And then I forget how I got into this program, the first like Facebook ads program that I've gotten into. And they had an example client getting funnel where it was, here's how to go and get loan officers. And so I just set it up, did exactly what they said, ended up getting 3 or 4 trials off of like $100 in ads. And I was like, all right, this is kind of easy. And I ventured off into different niches, and I kept coming back to real estate because that one I had systematized it, and the rest has been history. Like I've only done real estate clients other than like the odd white label ever for the last 5 years now.
Okay. And so you were doing SEO for clients.
Yeah.
That was after Panda or after Penguin?
That was after Panda. So when I was in college, I had affiliate sites.
Yeah.
And
same here.
Yeah. And I probably shouldn't share what they were because some of them were filthy, but it made a lot of money from the dorm room, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of money. Like, kids are eating from the cafeteria and I'm just throwing money around like college money, right?
Yeah.
It's, we used to have parties in a basement. It's like, yeah, I'll just buy all the beer because it's $500, but that was a day.
Right.
And then those updates happen and it was like, okay, let's go buy some ramen because I don't have any income anymore.
I mean, it was a rough time, man. Like Panda hit and it was like everything was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some hope. Like a few months later, there was a couple things that made sense. You could start to get some traffic again. And then Penguin came and it was done.
Right behind it.
I mean, I was in the same boat.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. So I was like, all right, I don't want to deal with this myself. I'll have somebody pay me for it, right?
Yeah.
And then got into the doing SEO for clients. So it was a web package plus SEO for 12 months kind of thing. And that's what I've been doing for the longest time. For an actual day job though, like I got hired right out of college to be a traveling, I was called a systems engineer, but I basically went to work with a suitcase in my car, and I would fly around the country repairing these gigantic, like 10-foot long allergy analyzers. And somebody would call and say it's broken. I say, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. And I'd jump on a plane and away I'd go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized like that sucks. So then I got offered a job as my day job now is I'm what's called a solution consultant. So I'm the bridge between the sales team who does the numbers and the services team who does the stuff. So like my job is talking.
Okay.
So I got to get up in front of the room full of people and I say, here's how you do this, here's how you do that, show value, show the product, and then go home. And that's literally my job.
Okay.
And it's been, this is bad to say, but COVID has been the best thing that has ever happened to me.
We're seeing a lot of that with tech companies.
Because I work from home anyway, but there would be, usually it was once a week, I was spending a night in a hotel room. One night a week I was gone. And with 3 kids, that's a nightmare. And I remember I was in San Diego when this whole thing started, and I got paid to speak at an event out there in San Diego, and I was going to be gone for 16 days in a row because it wouldn't make sense to come home and switch bags and go back where I was going. And on the flight out there, they're like, yeah, we're canceling the event. And it's like, oh boy, I need the second event I was going to, not the one I was speaking at. It was this big trade show with, 50,000 people, and they canceled it. And it's like, okay, something's up, right? So I got to go home, and the day job company was like, it's shut down, it's off, nobody's traveling. And then I was like, oh, I can focus on this real estate thing kind of. And it's been, my wife won't let me quit. How about that? She won't let me quit until we don't need insurance anymore.
Is that, did you have you seen the explosion in like your agency side since the whole COVID thing? Is that what ended up happening? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
When COVID basically started in March, right? Or that's when I stopped traveling, was in March. And in May, I was making more in a week than I was in a month at my day job. And like I get paid really well at my day job, like over 6 figures for that. And it was like, okay, let's step on the gas before this runs out.
That's awesome.
So it's been kind of a perfect storm.
Cool. So what are the plans? Are your plans just to continue to expand the agency side and then hopefully be able to move away from the day job, or that's
I think tell us more about that. Like you say, it blew up. Tell us more.
So I turned on the ads on May 5th. May 5th was the day that I turned the ads on. Prior to that, I would have like maybe $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month for a while, and then those clients would fall off, and then I'd have nothing, but I still have the day job, so it was okay. And then I'd get like 8 clients, and so I'd be at like $10,000 a month, and then they'd fall off because most clients, no matter how well you do, have a 3-month lifespan. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if you were the best marketer on the planet, that's just how it is. And then on May 5th, I turned on the ads, and it's been, let's see, the first month of May. I'm going to look at my Stripe account here just because I want to see what it was. So in, oh wait, I have to go back another. So in May, it was $8,500 for the month of May is what was cash collected, right? And then in June was $56,000, and July was $65,000, and so far in August has been $81,000.
Wait a minute.
So when I said I stepped on the gas, I wasn't kidding. Like,
hang on a second. Let's just repeat that for people that are watching. Can you repeat that, because I that may have slipped by some people.
So I turned on the ads on May 5th. In the month of May, I did $8,500 in cash collected. In June was $56,000 cash collected. In July was $66,000 cash collected. And so far in August has been 81,000 in cash collected.
So in the span of less than 3 months, you've gone from under 10 grand to almost over 100,000.
To over 200,000.
I'm thinking about monthly.
Oh yeah,
recurring. Yeah.
yeah. These aren't, so it's a weird setup, but the clients pay a majority.
Oh, okay. Right.
But still, I mean, I've made more in the last 3 months than I have in the last.
Crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what we're going to talk about then, because everybody's like that. I mean, these are the questions that are coming up. Like, you're running ads. What are you doing, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to jump into that. Unless Matt, unless you've got some other things you want to.
No, I want to jump into
Talk
that.
about this. Let's talk about that. That's awesome. And the only other thing too, I think that one of the an important part about all this too is you had systemized a lot of what you were doing already, right?
Right.
Because to go from $5,000 to $8,000 a month to $50,000 the next month to $100,000 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
You don't do that unless you've got systems and processes in place.
Absolutely.
Not possible.
It's impossible. And even with systems and processes in place, before I had the VA, who's just a complete lifesaver. I mean, I was up till 3, 4 in the morning banging out campaigns.
Right.
And then it was, okay, it's 7 a.m. Let's get up, get the kids dressed. Okay, 8 a.m. call start. We'll start doing those.
So one more time, the numbers. You start at 8,500. The next month
was 56.
This is revenue.
This is cash collected.
Cash collected. It's revenue, yeah, right?
Yep. So 56,000.
Uh-huh.
Then 66,000.
Uh-huh.
Then this month has been 81,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's comical.
You told me you had a drink at a certain point in time. What point in time was that?
So yeah, when we were talking before, it was this whiskey is from Ireland, like where my family is from there. So my mom went there, I think it was like 6 years ago, and got this just because I said get an expensive bottle of whiskey, right? And I don't remember how much it was, but that doesn't matter. But I've got it so where when somebody's born, or when somebody dies, or when I hit a business goal, I drink it. And so when the kids were born, grandparents passed away, I drank it, and then when I hit my first 100K a year in my agency was 2018. It was 2018, right? And so I drank just 2 fingers then, right? And then I did it again in 2019. And then I did it again in June. And then I did it again right now, right before this call. It's like...
Well, and you did it right before this call?
Yeah.
Well, I hope nobody passed away.
No, I crossed over 200K.
In a year?
In a year.
Nice. With your
That's awesome.
agency. Fantastic, man. So
Yeah.
I was curious because you said, I'll tell you what it was when we get going. So 200K was the mile marker.
Yep, that was the mile marker. So for the last, if I go to Stripe and not month to date, year to date since January 2021 has been 215,000.
215,000 in revenue, and you have a day job.
And a day job.
So to anybody that says like, I don't know if I can start an agency because I've got a full-time job.
No, there's no excuse for that.
Well, and tell us a little bit about that, right? Is your full-time job like you have a full-time salary and you're required to get X amount of work done, but really you get it done in like 30, 40 minutes a morning or?
Right. So my job is to talk on calls like this, exactly like this, where I talk for 2 hours and I'm uninterrupted. But there's also like hours of prep that go into that because it's a multi-million-dollar sale. And if something doesn't work, if I click the wrong button, if I say something stupid, like I can lose a deal, but I can't win a deal, right? Yeah. But that has to go perfect. And so there's probably 8-9 hours of prep that go into that.
And you're doing that every day?
Most days.
Most days. I mean, you're working a solid, what, 40, 50 hours a week at this job?
Well, when I was traveling, it was 70, 80 hours a week.
Okay.
Travel time, plus the agency, right? Like that was just day job. But now that I'm not traveling, it's like, well, we do everything remote. There's not as much involved. I don't have to wait, 8 hours in an airport every week. Or drive 6 hours a week to get to and from the airport.
Right.
I fly out of Detroit, actually. But That's where Southwest is at. That's the best place to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, notice he did say I live 2.5 hours from Detroit. I mean, he's also, if he wanted to, 2.5 hours from Chicago. So he chose Detroit for a reason.
3.5 from Chicago.
Yeah, it's because there's no traffic. That's why.
Well, he's down in where you're at. You're not
Moved
far
out of
from
Detroit.
So you're not far from the Amtrak. You can get into Chicago pretty quick.
Yeah, except it could be 4 hours late. I tried that and I missed a flight.
Did you? Well, that's because Chicago O'Hare is a nightmare. But anyway.
Well, and it doesn't even go there. Like the train station is 10 minutes from my house. And I got I forget, it was like a first class cabin, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like a moving office.
Yeah, which is like a nicer bus.
Exactly. And then it showed up 4 hours late and it's like, well, I'm not going to Dallas today.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much. Oh, that's crazy. So you're doing your day job. You put in 30 hours a week at your day job.
Give or take, yeah.
And you're still killing it on the agency side.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the secret there? Because you just got a VA 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. It's sales. I mean, sales cures all problems, right? And
Pretty true.
I think I took maybe, I want to say it was like 100 sales calls, maybe. It may not have even been that much, but it was just refine the script, refine the offer, figure out the objections. And then it was, okay, let's go and find salespeople. And I just, inside my network, found a bunch of people who were like, well, yeah, you're going to pay me more than this other person. And then I figured out how to fill their calendar. And it's like, follow the script. The words that I wrote on this piece of paper, follow them. Say what I said to say. And they close at 20, 25%, most all of them. So
what's your average retainer on those?
So it's a unique setup where I'm more of it's like a done with you type of program.
Okay. Yeah.
Where I've recorded like everything. This is exactly how I do it. Like it's a 12 module course that they're buying, but part of what they get is high level.
Okay.
And what I included with high level is me doing any campaign that they ask me for, but they don't ask me for it.
So tell me, what does that mean?
Ad campaign, right?
Any ad campaign.
Right. So home valuation, foreclosure, any of those, right? The stuff you guys teach in the academy.
Yep.
I've got a form where they check a box and it sends me their information and then I build it.
Okay.
And
hang on a second. So you're, and let's just go back to the sales thing too, because I think it's really important. I think a lot of people forget about this, right? I mean, no sales, you got no company. So, right. But I had an interesting conversation with somebody today, which was about sales. And one of the big things they said is no offer, no sales, no company, which was, basically if you don't have an offer, you have no sales. You have no sales, you have no company, right? And so one of the things that you focused on is really trying to put together a very unique offer that you could properly position, that you can deliver on, that you can actually sell. Yeah. And I also think it's actually quite a unique offer. And I think a lot of people forget that, especially if you're new to sort of the agency world. And I mean, it happened to me. I don't know if I think it happened to Matt as well, which was basically like, hey, my offers, I do Facebook ads, right? Like that's my offer. That's my product. That's what I do. That's my service. Right. And that's not what people want. Right. I mean, it's so once you really have to look into like, okay, what is your offer? What's the product that you are actually trying to sell? And once you have that, then tailor your sales around that, right? Because without that, then you could try and sell all day long, but if you don't know what the hell you're selling, you're never going to get a sale. And at the end of the day, then if you don't get no sales, you got no business, right? So let's talk a little bit. Do you mind if we talk a little bit more about your offer and what that looks like? And just, I know you kind of went over it really quickly, but I think what's interesting is that you're positioning this as like, hey, here's my product and I'll do it for you. But what's happening is that they take your product, but you never end up having to do anything.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Okay.
So, where this all, sorry, go ahead, man.
I said, before we go there, I also want to know, or just if you cover the payment structure when you do it, whether it's a one-time, it's like a 3-month, is it a monthly over 12? Yeah.
So it is a one-time payment, and they have a 2-pay option and a 3-pay option.
Okay.
Right. What I do is they get all the course, right? Which is, here's how the program works. Here's how to know your numbers. Here's how to run the Facebook ads the Todd Taylor way. Here's how to zero cost your marketing. Here's how to follow up with your leads, right? It's the whole thing. And then, so that's the education part, right? So they're, before they ever talk to us, that's what they think they're getting I'm going to be able to do this for myself, right? And once they get on the phone with the sales team, what they're told is the numbers, right? Because the agents that I want to work with know their numbers, right? And so we call it
that's a good line.
Yeah.
Say that again.
The agents that I want to work with know their numbers.
I love that.
Hashtag. So what I do is, it's called the 50-50-30-50 rule, right? Or I might have messed that up, but it's anyway. 50-30-50 rule is what we call it. So on the sales pitch, that's what they hear. And so across the country, my average cost per lead is $1, right? So as I'm talking with the salespeople, or as the salespeople are talking, they're like, where are you at? Oh, okay. It's, we get those for $1 a lead, right? So you were going to spend how much money? Okay. So you want to spend $300 a month. So you'll get about 300 leads, roughly, right? Just work with me, but 300 leads. Of those 300 leads, about 50% of them will respond to the automations, because we get about a 50% reply rate. So that's 150 conversations that you get to have, Mr. Client. Of those 50 conversations, if you follow the training that Todd gives you, you'll set 30% of those into appointments. So that's 60 appointments, right? Are you with me so far? Great. My math might be off, but just follow me. So it's 60 appointments. Well, then 50% of those will actually show up to their appointments, right? Sure, of course, assuming you use the training that's in the program. So that means you're sitting down face-to-face with a new buyer or seller every single day, right? Because that's 30 appointments that actually show up. That's one per day. And you and I both know that 80% of agents, or 80% of buyers and sellers, work with the first agent that they meet face-to-face, right? So that's 20 new deals a month. Can you do 20 new deals, or do you need less? And then just like,
I love that line. Oh, that's such a great line.
Yeah, that's the secret.
Can you do 20 deals, or do you need less?
No, I could do 20 deals. It's like, well, and you're only spending $300 a month. I mean, what's the average cost in your area? Oh, okay, so it's $200K. So you make what, $3,000 a deal? So that's, $60,000 a month if you do what's in the program, right? But I noticed I did the math wrong there, but that's on purpose, because I want them to be like, no, you're only going to do 30. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds awful.
And this is something, we talk a lot about inside of the academy too. We built out an entire calculator for this,
yeah.
Where it's like really like stop focusing on the features and the tech side of it. Really focus on the actual result and the revenue and the ROI from those results.
So I have a Facebook group with all the clients in, and two of them got into an argument today because one of the guys just signed a $1.1 million listing, a $387,000 listing, and a $235 listing this week.
Mm-hmm.
But he's spending $200 a day.
Okay.
And so, oh my gosh, how could he do that? Well, he just made $60,000 in commission off of $2,000. And so they were arguing like, oh, well, agents can't spend this. It's like, well, it's an educated gamble. Like you're not in this business to just nickel and dime yourself to success. Like you have to spend money to make money. And they argued back and forth, and I was like, well, he's right. Sorry.
So he's spending $200 a day.
Yeah.
$6,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right.
Roughly.
And that's
$6,000 a month.
You bring in one deal at $200K. That's $6,000.
Yeah. Well, and this is one. I always talked about this, Matt. I know we've had this conversation many times. This is the challenge of this industry, right? You get people, just average, random people getting their licenses. They're going out there. They think they can make a lot of money because they see their friends, family, other people selling homes, and it's like, you know what? I can do that. I can show homes. I can sell homes.
I can open doors.
I can even. It's so easy, right? But the problem with that is that you end up with a large majority of people who just don't understand or don't run it as a business, right? And, when I started my first business, the first thing we did, we took a risk. We spent $35,000. Next thing I did, I took a $25,000 loan out of the bank. Next thing I did, I took another $30,000 small business loan. Next thing I did, I went back to the bank to try and get another $50,000 list. That was what we were doing. We were trying to grow, leveraging other people's money, right? And yeah, it was risky, but that was the name of the game. Guess what? That company failed. We shut it down. When I went for the next, like when we started our software company, guess what we did? We all got credit cards. Well, this is a debit card, but
What, you just have credit cards in your hand all day?
All over the place, man. I gotta spend.
Sitting next to your computer because like you pulled it up so fast, like I felt like you were sitting there.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, like we still run a business. Guess what we're doing? We're spending money on ads.
Yeah.
Right. We're borrowing money to leverage that money so we can continue to grow a business. But that's one of the big challenges with the real estate industry is you get a lot of these, and nothing wrong with it, but you get a lot of sort of normal, typical, people that think they can just go out and sell homes. And then, and then they get, it's like, you see everybody, it's like, oh, $1 leads. And oh my God, like I've been trying to do cold calls, or I'm following this person, or I'm getting coached by this person that tells me to go door knocking, all this other stuff that's not working, right? Because maybe it's not your personality or whatever. And it's like, wow, $1 leads, $2 leads. Like, yeah, those are perfect, right? Now I can close some business, but then I'll realize that you got to spend money to make money, right? So it's a very, very, I find that's one of the things that's been very challenging about this industry is there's a very large percentage of people that don't actually run this as a business, right?
And I mean, that's something that I say, whenever we've talked about this, right? Because we'll see people and we'll be like, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing? Looking at what kind of results people are getting, trying to figure out. It's, I would say like 90+% of the time, they're failing more. They're failing more often. Yeah. Instead of getting 100 leads and trying to convert 1 or 2 deals, they're getting 600 leads and trying to convert,
all of them,
6 to 12 leads, right? Yeah, trying to convert all of them. True. But they are trying to really get that 6 to 12 deals out of 600 leads, as opposed to the agent who's going to try and get 1 deal out of 100 leads. Right? Because if you have more opportunities to fail, you have more opportunities to succeed.
It's funny because I was just talking to a client of mine about this. I'm looking at the lead list, right? And they've converted a few deals, but I'm looking at this massive lead list that we had generated. And it actually represents a percentage of all the homes that have been sold in the past 12 months, right? Like there's actually, we can look at it and say, okay, well, we know just based on the numbers that there is at least 10 deals in this. And then when we look at the math, it's like, you're going to 10 times your money. You just gotta work these leads. It's literally impossible to not make money with this lead list that we've generated over the past 3 months. It's not possible, right? Just based on the numbers and just based on the number of homes that have sold in the past, 12 months in your market, and the number of leads we've gotten in, and then all the data that we've gotten for those leads. Like, it's just, anyways, it's sometimes can be very challenging and sometimes can be very frustrating. But again, going back to the ROI and making the agents understand the numbers and the results tends to be the most important thing. That's really, it sounds like with your sales pitch, that's where you focused the majority of your energy.
Yeah, exactly. That's, if you don't have a good offer, why bother making it, right? If you have the same offer that every single internet marketer that paid $9.97 to learn how to be a Facebook guru has, you're not any different than anybody else.
Well, and that's a great place you bring us to, right? Because we talked about the course earlier and how that's available, and you are a member
for $9.97, by the way.
Or $9.97, right?
When I signed up, it was $500, and it was the best $500 I have ever spent in my life.
but let's talk about that, right? Because let's assume it was $9.97 and you paid $9.97 for this course, like all the other ones that you just mentioned. Like, what did you do differently when you went in there? Because there are, Shane, over 500 members now?
Yeah, so here's the trick that, and I've spoken from stage like about this on how to do this. So, I'm a, what do you want to call it, a course junkie, basically. Um, it's true. I'll admit to it.
I'll
That's
send you
the
an
first
invite.
step.
We've got a Facebook
Oh,
recovery
do
group.
you? Oh, is it free?
Have a recovery group. It's only $9.97 a month.
But the problem when people join a Facebook group is they go right to this module thing that they really want to see, and they bounce around and they don't pay any attention, whether it's a good product or not, but they don't pay attention. And so when I signed up for the academy, it was, okay, I'm going to log in and I'm going to do that. And that's it, blinders. Like, this is the one thing that I'm focusing on is this, at least for the next month.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that with every program that I sign up for. And magically, every time I sign up for a program, if it's a good program, I end up making money from it.
Well, it's funny you say I did this, right?
Yeah.
I just talked to somebody else who did a very similar thing, right? Is they finally buckled down and said, I'm going to do this. And they focused. And it was last night I was telling somebody, more entrepreneurs drown in opportunity every year than water.
Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous. And like, it's so frustrating. It's like you spent, and even people in the program that signed up, it's like there's over, right now there's 150, I don't know the exact number, but 150. There's still like 30 people who haven't filled out the damn onboarding form. And I'm not going to chase you. I told you what to do on the onboarding call. I made it very clear. I have a 3-month automated texting sequence that's going to push you to do the onboarding form. And you always
Wait, you put a 3-month sequence together just to get people to fill out the onboarding form. And how much did they invest to get into this?
So right now the program's $1,500.
$1,500.
Right, so
So they pay $1,500, or they pay 3 payments of what? $799.
$847 or $647.
Yeah, something like that, right?
It's not a lot.
Right, but still, like you end up paying $1,500 to $2,200.
Yeah, and you can't even create a login. All right, like I guess I'll take your money.
You're gonna get a refund request.
So that's actually something really unique that I do with my program is they actually, when they sign up, they get a 90-day refund guarantee.
Okay.
And I tell them it is 90 days from right now when I run your card. If this doesn't work the way that you want it to, I will refund your money. Mm-hmm. Because I know that what I do will make you money. And that completely gets rid of the will this work or not BS that people always deal with. And it's, oh, okay, this guy believes that much in his product.
Yeah.
And I've had to give that refund twice out of the 150. So
do you do like a performance bonus, or it's just like no questions asked? Like, hey, if you
I ask them questions, like I tell them, like, yeah, if you ask for the refund, I'm going to figure out why.
Right.
Like and I've never had to give it for performance based. Like I've had people ask, and I say, well, no, your ad account, your leads are under 30 cents, your apply rate's 60.
Oh, like they're asking for refunds after they've actually gone through your program. And it's like, okay, well, this is working. Let me get my money back.
No, they've never done. I mean, I can't imagine. Like I don't believe people act like that. And knock on wood, I haven't had anybody come across there, but I've had people that are like, well, this isn't working.
Hey, you got 1.9 million realtors. Wait.
Yeah. Okay.
You only got 150. You'll find one.
Well, I have had some that are, like somebody signed up because she was really excited and then told her husband and, he freaked out. So it's like, well, whatever. I'm not going to put you in a bad spot. But
right.
Other people have asked for a refund. And it's like, well, no, your ads have only been running for 3 days. No. No, you and I need to get on a call and figure this out and have a difficult conversation. And we do. And they see the way and they understand that, oh, this is actually working really well. I just haven't closed the deal yet because I'm an idiot, because it's only been live for 3 days. Okay. And then it's like, oh, but you see these 5 people in the last 2 days that said they wanted this with their house and you didn't respond. Did you watch the module that teaches you how to do the follow-up? Let me log into your account. Oh, you haven't. You probably need to watch that because I'm not turning the ads off.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I guess you're right. Now, I have had to give the refund twice. One guy's family was in Beirut when the explosion happened. And another woman's son got diagnosed with cancer. So it was like, here, like, no, I'm not going to keep your money that way. But I've never had to give that per performance, and it's scary to make that offer, right? Like I've got 6 people that are making that offer for me,
Yeah.
and it was nerve wracking. It was really nerve wracking. Like as the bank account started to go up, I'm like, this doesn't count yet because it's still in jeopardy.
All right.
And
That's 90 days, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's a long time.
it's a long time, but no one's ever.
Matt wanted to give a 14-day refund policy for the academy, and I'm like, no way. It's like 14 days, that's way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for 90 days, I mean, it's like, hey, and the way that I say it on the sales pitch is like, I'm trying to be a drug dealer, right? Like, hey, I'm going to give you the goods for free, get you hooked, and then you're a lifetime user. And they all have been, right? I've not had one bad thing, knock on wood, said about me from these people.
Now, do these people have to pay additional money if they want to stay with you another 3 months?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that part of what they get, and what I realized with ClickFunnels, with our buddy Russell, right, is every time he does a new product launch, every single time, look at the price and look how long you get ClickFunnels for free. Because oddly enough, you paid the full price for ClickFunnels for that time, you just pay it up front.
Yeah.
Like, if it's $9.97, guess what? You're getting ClickFunnels for 6 months. If it's more than that, if it's the $3,000 product at 10X or whatever, you got it for a whole full year and you paid double. And I realized that it's like, well, we've got this high level thing that I can give them for free because it only costs me $300 a month to have unlimited accounts, and then I can charge them.
Yeah.
And so part of the offer is like, hey, you get this follow-up software thing for 90 days. For free. It's nothing. And then it's $297 a month.
Yep.
And so by the time, and the rationalization to that is, well, by the time 90 days comes around, you should have closed 4 or 5 deals. It won't matter.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and let's talk about that because that's huge, right? Are people closing deals? Are they actually closing deals? Because that is something that I think a lot of people talk about, like, oh, I've got so many clients, I've got so many this, blah, blah, blah. I'm at 10K a month, 50K a month, whatever. But how many of your clients are closing deals?
So this week we had, I think it was 7.8 or 8.8 million in closed funded deals.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do you
I'll tell you, say again?
How do you track that as well?
So we have a Facebook group. And
Okay.
so and that is the best thing I've ever done, is put all of them in a group together and reward them for sharing their results. Like every time that they close a deal, I send them a $50 gift package.
Okay.
And then they take a picture of it and they post it in the group. And they say, hey, I just, like, for example, this woman in Tulsa just signed a $1 million cash buyer who's a new rapper that just signed a record deal. And she posted that in the Facebook group. And then somebody else posted, then there was a question, and somebody else posted, right? All these wins.
Lead.
Off a Facebook lead, yeah. Go figure.
A 30-cent Facebook or $1 Facebook lead or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that. It works.
It's crazy.
But then, so part of the sales process is the sales team will do a Zoom call and go into the Facebook group and be like, oh, look, this person just closed a $1 million cash buyer. Huh. Well, this person just closed a $387,000 seller lead.
It seems to motivate them a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the people that haven't filled out the form, that haven't done anything, that aren't getting results, feel bad. Like, I probably should work these leads a little harder because everybody else is having success. And I've even had people with refund requests like, well, I see everybody in the group is getting results. And it's like, well, why aren't you? Your market's not different. Your campaign's not any different. The follow-up's not any different. What do you think's different? I guess it's me. I guess you're right.
It's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, man.
Yeah,
So you put together this program, and that's what your offer is. You essentially give them this program. They join this program. They watch the videos, fill out this onboarding form, which you have a 90-day follow-up sequence to just for a stupid follow or just for an onboarding form. It's crazy. And on top of it, 25% of the people that have paid $1,500 haven't filled out the onboarding form, which is even crazier. But so I'm curious, like from that, what is it? What do they actually go out and build their own ads, and then you're providing support for that, or are they going through like all the training and then they fill out additional forms, you build out the ads for them, provide support for that?
Before you answer that, you guys, if you have questions, put them down in the comments down below. I know there's a lot of people watching right now, and I don't see a lot of questions, so I'm guessing you're just kind of taking it in. Hopefully, we're asking the right questions, and maybe that's why you're a little quiet tonight. But anyways, if you have questions, if there's things you're wondering, put those down in the comments below so that we can ask Todd while he's here with us and see if we can get those answered, because maybe you've got a question that I haven't thought about or Shane hasn't thought about, and it's going to help other people as well. So,
and Alina or Alana, thank you for the hashtag iguana. That means a lot if you're still watching.
Hashtag iguana?
Yeah, that's my, so I'm the iguana of Indiana. That's my official nickname, which is ridiculously stupid. But so I got that nickname from Jordan Belfort, The Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
I had to
tell.
I was in New Orleans on Bourbon Street speaking at an event, and he was the keynote and I was the opener. And so I opened up the event, and then he spoke like 3 or 4 people after me. But part of the prep and all that stuff is like, well, I'm the Wolf of Wall Street, and he sat down next to me. So I'm the Wolf of Wall Street. You must be the iguana of Indiana. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but sure. And everybody else heard it, and it just stuck, right?
That is awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
All right, my nickname's from the Wolf of Wall Street. I'll stick with it. I'm done.
I love it.
I did outsell him from stage, though, so I do have that. I've got proof of that.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
I forget what the last question was.
So we were talking about like the way that you fulfill the clients.
Oh, right. So yeah, part of what so when they sign up, they're told there's training in the program on how to do their own Facebook ads, right? But they also get their first campaign for free, and we will guarantee that they get 20 leads per month, which is
how many?
20.
Okay. With how much ad spend?
I don't even say. Like even at $1 a day, they'll get 20, right? And so it's like, wow, 20 leads per month. Like Bold Leads only gave me 10 last month, and you're guaranteed 20, right?
I'll be right back.
And so I tell them that, and then they sign up, and they're told that I will do their first campaign, right? And when I do the onboarding call with them, I'm like, hey, by the way, your subscription, the software that you have for 90 days now includes unlimited campaigns. So anytime that you need a campaign built, whether it's one of our normal ones or a custom one, you just fill this form out and we'll do it for you. And now that stickiness of that client just went through the roof.
So that's on your sales call, right?
On my onboarding call.
On your onboarding call. Okay.
Right. So on the sales call, they're told they get 1. When I
Right.
talk to them, they get as many as they want.
Right.
Because now they're getting a CRM and a follow-up system and a website builder and a review management. And they've got this tech guy who will do all the tech stuff for them whenever they want. They just have to ask, and they can't get rid of me.
Right.
At least that's the idea.
That's awesome. And then, so the idea from that is essentially they get that for 3 months for free. And then you move them into the subscription base, which is $2.99 a month.
Yeah.
For as long as possible after that.
Right.
Hopefully they've built a website. Hopefully they've been using it as a CRM system, and they've got notes built like in with their leads and all, and they can't move away from it is really the idea of it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you gotten anybody past that 3-month threshold yet?
Yeah, just a few. I mean, we started this in May and it's August now, so
right.
I think it's had like a 72% rollover rate so far.
That's not bad.
So, yeah,
that's amazing, actually. Yeah.
Next month is going to be. I mean,
yeah.
The 72% was from that $8,500.
Right.
And so the next month will be like, it's basically a multi-6-figure software business at this point.
Right.
Not counting the front end sales.
So I've got I have a really, really great question, because so you talked about, it's like, okay, well, any campaign you need, whatever you need, we'll build it out for you. So I'm Mr. Client, and I come to you and I call you someday and I say, hey, listen, Todd, so listen, I'm going to take you up on your offer, any campaign I want. So I'd like you to build a campaign for seller leads that are selling homes between $850 to $1.5 million. And, I don't want anybody in this area of town. How do you handle sort of that, like those custom type of requests from clients?
It totally depends on the request, but that one, for example, would be like, no, I can't target income or housing prices, and I can't target such a small area. Like, would you be mad if I brought you a $500,000 seller?
Yeah, because they're annoying. I don't know. I'm just thinking like some of the requests are like I just recently got one where it's just like there's no way I can't do that. I don't even want to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just some of the like how do you? I guess my point is how do you avoid, because all these custom type campaigns, and with one of the things we talk about inside the academy is really like productize your service, right? So you're always delivering the exact same thing over and over and over again. It's the only way you can scale is by building out ad campaigns and being able to systemize that. So you're not always building out customized type of solutions that may not necessarily, because I've had plenty of clients. I had one client last year. He's like, yeah, I don't want to run any listings. I don't want to run any homes list. I want you to advertise my book and I want to get leads from my book. Your book? Yeah, I wrote a book 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how I want you to get leads. I'm like, I can't get you leads from the book you wrote 2 years ago. Who's read it? Like, have you sold any copies? Like, what makes you think I can get leads from that? Right. So like, how do you avoid that kind of, like, do you provide like, okay, we'll do campaigns for free, but we have sort of a standard list of campaigns.
Yeah. So that sounds great. I would love to do that type of campaign for you, but if I set that up and it doesn't work, that's going to put a bad taste in your mouth and it's going to make you mad and make me look bad. And I don't want that. So it's in our best interest if you pick from one of these 4 proven ones. Let's get started with that. Let's get a feel for how things are going, get you some leads, get you some closings. Then we can talk about the custom stuff. And so far I've had one person want to do that.
Right.
And the custom stuff's working. Right. So it's like,
well, that's cool too. Plus you get to try something different,
on somebody else's dime. Start with the stuff that I know works rather than just throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping it sticks. Like, pick one of these. I've spent over $1 million on each one of these campaigns. I know the numbers. What you're talking about might be the greatest thing since sliced bread. It might be absolute garbage. Mm-hmm. Rather start with garbage or something that works that you paid for and signed up for. And then they're like, yeah, I guess I should probably listen to you.
So when you say, okay, I've got this list of 4 standard, what are you typically offering or providing for sort of your standardized campaigns?
Yeah, so it's home valuation, single listing, homes list, and then foreclosure. Right? Cool.
Yeah.
And they're very, very similar to like what you guys have taught in the course, but I've obviously tweaked and tested them and changed a little bit of the ad copy. To a point where it's more custom to me, but it's built off of that foundation that you guys taught in the academy.
And now, Are you running lead forms, landing pages, messenger bots? What's your main thing?
Lead form to text.
Love it.
That's it. Otherwise, it's too complicated.
Sorry, say that again. Lead form to what?
To text, high level.
Lead form to. So, can you explain what that means?
Yeah. So it's fill out the lead form, right? Then on the lead form, it says, click here to call now. And then they go into an immediate campaign where it's, hey, I just got your Facebook information. And then get a response. And they get, cool. That is the best way. Because I did bots, I did landing pages, I've done it all. And
so you're qualifying. So what is the qualification? Is that just to qualify that the phone number is correct and that you're getting a response?
Just response.
Or just a response and that's it? And then the client goes and picks up the phone, calls them at that point, right?
Yeah. Ideally, that's what happens.
Ideally, that's what they're going to do. What do you do with all the ones that don't respond?
Just they drop out of the automations, and I tell the clients, like, you know how to work a CRM, figure out what you want to do with them.
Right.
My job is to get you hot buyers right now. If they're not right now, then, make out your own 6-month follow-up sequence.
Cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's
just stand completely blinders on. This is what we're focused on.
Right, and that's why it works so well, because they're signing up for this program, for this course, right? And so they already are bought in that they're going to be doing this work themselves. So it's not like an agency pitch where it's like, oh, I'll just do everything for you, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
They have the buy-in with it.
You know, it's interesting because so just being from Canada and stuff, we got to be really careful with some of our anti-spam laws. So we don't do a whole lot of text messages here.
Yep.
In the US, I do, you know, obviously do a lot more text messages, but we've got I've got this new project that I've been working on, where we're doing a lot more events now. And I'm like, you know what, we got like, and we're generating, you know, hundreds and hundreds of leads a week. It's so many leads that we're generating. We got to figure out a way to filter through all of these, right? Because it's impossible for the clients to actually follow up with all of them, right? So we got to, you know, obviously one of the filters is if they attend the event, that's one of the filters, right? Obviously that becomes a slightly hotter lead, but we started doing a lot more filtering on text messages. And what was shocking was the response rate on text messages, how high that is.
Oh, massive.
And like, and the question is so simple. Like, you know, I'm still testing some of this out, but like, so basically the question is like, you know, hey, is this Todd? Like that's the first question that goes out, right? I don't know. I don't know if that was you, Matt, or if it was Austin or somebody. Anyways, it was a long time. Like that's the question you should be asking, right? So that's the first question we ask. And as soon as that response comes in, they basically get tagged as, okay, this is a valid lead. Everybody else drops out. Like we pull them right out of the campaign. And nobody follows up with those leads. If they never answer that text message, nobody ever touches those leads again. Like they get email drips or they get whatever, like replays of the events and things like that. But the agents themselves are not calling, they're not texting, they're not emailing those leads. They just fall right out of the campaign. And that's been a huge like lifesaver for like try not to overwhelm some of these agents with just a ton of leads that will never respond because either A, the numbers are bad, or they're just not serious enough, right? Yeah. So in fact, now what I've done with the last one, like the last events we ran, I actually changed that question. I wanted to see how much I could push it to see, like, so basically now I say, hey, this is so-and-so, like the actual agent's name. And I'm like, hey, I'm just responding about this. Before I send you this information, I just want to confirm that this is Todd. So I've made it a little bit longer, and I feel like the quality has increased because I always found that like asking them their first name, like if that number is valid, anybody's going to respond because they want to know who the hell that is, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a quality, like a lead that's actually serious. So I started adding a little bit more branding to the text message and just making it a little bit longer to get a slightly higher quality lead out of that phone number. But it's done very, very well for us over the past like couple months since we've been doing this. And I just saw a question here from Joe, like about using ISAs. And this is one of the ways now we're starting to filter for ISAs because the ISAs are really expensive, right? It's like you can send leads, and if they're calling and they're getting bad phone numbers, they're essentially charging you for that dial, right? So when you're qualifying them through the text message, now you can qualify them. If they respond, then send it off to the ISA.
That's a hell of an idea. I like that a lot because I do something similar where it's like, hey, this is agent. I just got your request from Facebook. You know, what type of home are you looking for? Right, but that's a little bit generic. But I like having that before I send this. You know, is this Matt?
Yeah, and it's like, so my response rate on the on our text messages right now on the last campaign I ran, 76%.
Wow,
it's really high.
That may be
really, really high in the last campaign we ran. Leads are $10 a lead though, but yeah. It's a slightly higher quality lead. And then so the rest of it, the 25% that don't respond, they just get they get garbaged, right? They just basically go into this long-term email drip, and then all the ones that have texted move up to the next sort of level, which is okay. Now we're going to send them replays, try to get them to book appointments, and the agent only ever follows up with anybody that actually books an appointment. It's the only way we could do this. Just too many leads that are coming in.
I always tell them, like, let me do the tech, let the software do the filtering. You're going to get text message alerts that says new lead, whatever their name is, just said this. If it's a good response, follow up.
Yeah.
That's when you take over. If they call you a bad name or say wrong number, don't contact me, whatever, just ignore it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, when they say, when they answer the question, then take care of it. Then follow up with them. Because otherwise you're going to go insane.
Yeah. It ends up being a lot of freaking phone calls.
Well, they won't. Then they stop making the phone calls, and then it's my problem, and then it's like, no, it's your problem, and then it's a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
So, what have you done differently? Like, really, as far as, we kind of started to get into it earlier, right? You put the blinders on. But I mean, again, a lot of people are buying courses. Still only what? 5, 10%, 15 maybe might get results.
Yeah.
What did you do differently? Because we were talking about another course that you purchased otherwise, other than, there we go. And you had great success with that as well. So what are you doing differently when you're presented with information that other people are not, in such a way that you're able to succeed at this level?
Do you mean me specifically or people in my program?
You specifically.
Yeah, so it's I am like,
as a business owner.
I am ridiculously cheap. Like, I mean, like, seriously. And so when I spend money on something,
Is that canned whiskey?
No, this is Bush latte.
I think it's like the stronger version of Verner's or something. I don't
You have Bush lattes?
Right.
No, so when I spend money on something, it's like I have to think it through. I have to make sure it's the right decision. I have to, do due diligence and all that stuff. And then when I sign up for it, that is all that I'm going to focus on for the next 2, 3, 4 months. Like, that's it. There's no reason to get distracted by anything else after that. And like you said, drown in opportunities, because I just gave this dude who's on camera, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is. Like, I probably should listen to what they have to say and also do it.
Yeah.
Because to me, infotainment is the worst thing in the world. And so many people do that crap. And they're just like, oh, I'm working because I'm watching 8 hours of video a day, but I'm not actually putting my fingers on the keyboard and doing it.
Right.
And that's the biggest waste to me.
Yeah, and it's easy to get stuck on. It's easy to get stuck doing that.
Oh yeah, like I'm guilty of it for sure. But I learned that a couple of years ago, and it's like, just okay, it doesn't make sense. But even when I was in college, like 60% still meant I got my degree. You don't have to hit it perfect. You don't have to get 100% right. Just try it.
Did you say 66% is how you got your degree?
Well, it was an example. I didn't get a 66 to graduate.
Okay, I was like, wait, you passed all, because I'm trying to remember. I didn't get a degree, so I don't remember like what the minimum is.
I mean, there was a couple classes, like chemistry is not my strong suit, but I still had to take it, right?
Right.
But that's just, in school, it was always, D's get degrees.
Right.
Like, you do just enough to get through, and once you do enough to get through, you're through. And then you don't have to worry about it.
It's more of a commitment then. You commit when you go into something that you're going to make it successful. It's not, will this work? It's, I'm going to make it work.
Right. I'm going to believe in this person that I just gave my credit card, that they know what they're talking about. And I'm just going to hit play on this video on this screen. And then I'm going to go over to this screen and do it. And then I'm going to come back over here and play the next video. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no reason to fully and completely understand the whole process. Like, to go through the academy would be, I mean, how many gigs of video do you guys have?
I mean, I think there's like 174 videos or something like that.
And there's like I said earlier, sales cures all problems. So go to the client getting module that you guys have. That's the only one to watch. Do it. And then when you sign somebody up, then go and watch how to get the ads or how to get the leads.
I love that. I love that. It's like, I'm not going to go focus on everything. I'm going to focus on the part that I need.
My problem right now.
Yeah. Right now. And when I can create a new problem, which will be a good thing, then I'll go solve that.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And that's how I operate. That's why I got my first VA. It's like, I don't have enough time. This is my biggest problem. So here, Upwork person, do this for me.
Mhm.
And now magically I don't have to go to bed at 3 a.m. I can do midnight.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that. You know, hiring your first, is this your first VA?
Yeah. Well, first for this venture, like I've had
Okay.
I've had a couple miscellaneous VAs,
Yeah. So tell us about that a little bit. I mean, what was the steps? What do you end up paying your VA, if you don't mind asking?
Yeah.
And
And I actually have a training on this in my program, oddly enough. And for everybody watching right now, I'll make it. No, I'm kidding. So with the VA, like it's just your typical job posting, right? But what you do is in the middle of the post, put a weird word, like just randomly in a sentence where it doesn't belong at all, right? Where it does not make sense as they're reading the job posting. And so you're describing what you're going to do, and then if you want to be hired for this job, make the first word of your application apples. And then you keep writing the job description, and you just bury it somewhere inside of there. And then when you get 100 applications, you can see the first word of their reply. And if it doesn't have apples, delete.
yep.
That's it. Now, the next thing is you put as many custom questions as you can on the application. And then you can look at how long of a response people actually write before you even pay them any attention. Because when you're on Upwork, the first thing that shows up when you click on an application to a job is the custom questions. So the stuff that's important, you put in the custom questions, like, have you done this? Have you done Facebook ads? Have you done high level? Have you whatever, right? And then you don't even have to read the cover letter because they're just copying and pasting that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that half-ass the custom questions aren't worth your money anyway.
Right.
And so you go from 100 applications that you'd have to comb through manually to, in the first second of looking at their resume or their application, you can tell if they're good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just went down to 10, and it only took me a minute or two versus 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And then from there, you just have a conversation with them. Like the biggest pain with marketing is people think VAs are disposable, and they're not. They're people.
Right.
Like, and you're paying them to do a job, and you're paying them well, even though it doesn't seem like it is over here. Like, I pay her $7 an hour, 40 hours a week, whether I give her 40 hours of work or not. Like, she's salaried.
Yep.
And there's going to be weeks where she does 2 campaigns a day, and there's going to be weeks where she does 20.
Yeah.
And she knows that, but for where she's at in the Philippines, I mean, that's basically an $85,000 a year job to follow the training that's in the program. And I didn't have to train her. Just,
right.
Here's the login. Do what I said to do. And she picked it up immediately.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's awesome. You know, I've got a VA that does some stuff for me right now. And I mean, I paid her during this call, right? Because it's like, as soon as she reaches out, she basically has like, there's not a lot of work you got to do. Try and get it done by this time, right? It's somebody I've known from a previous gig. And so when she reaches out, usually I know it's like, hey, I need work right now, right? And so if she reaches out, like, I pay that within 30 minutes every time, right? Because, again, they know that it's more valuable over there, right? It's worth a lot more than just $10 an hour over there,
right?
And if they're doing it, they want to have the gig, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's, even with her, it's like, look, I know Upwork takes 20 or 25% or whatever it is. Just count it up at the end of the month, send me a PayPal invoice.
Yeah.
I'll cover it for you. It's not, I mean, it's $200, whatever.
Right.
Right. For the amount of time that you just saved me. Yeah, money well spent.
Yeah.
Right. And so like we were talking, that was my first problem, is like, okay.
But you don't do that, right? Because Upwork, it's against the terms, and we wouldn't encourage that.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But then my next problem has been, since we started ramping up this month for whatever reason, it's been onboarding calls.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing all the onboarding calls. It's a 30-minute onboarding call, and I say the same exact thing every time I talk to these clients. I mean, it's the same stupid opener. It's like, where are you from? I didn't recognize your area code. It's just wild. But it's the same thing. So, and with the day job, it's like I have had 0 white space on my calendar for the last 2 weeks. And I've even had to put blocks in there, like, pick up your kid from school. And as stupid as it sounds, it's like the first 3 days he was at school, I was on the phone while I was picking him up because I forgot to do it. And like that's not why.
Indiana, you guys are going to school?
Yeah, well, we only have cows and corn. We have cows and corn, not COVID. We don't have to worry about it. But I forgot to do it. So it's like, okay, this is my next problem because I've got this stuff behind me is what I need to do for the sales team, and I do not have time.
Yeah.
And so I just hired somebody, Pete from Client Support Pros, to do it for me. Like, hey, I'll write the script. You have your guys do it. That's it. I don't need to be the one doing this.
There you go. So you're not managing your clients. You're not handling the sales or the fulfillment.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to go from doing everything to to overseeing everything, I guess is a better term, right? That's business from entrepreneur to business owner.
Yeah, that's been for the first 4.5 years of doing this was everything 100% solo. Yeah. And then as I started, when you guys invited me to this call and I started ramping up, it was still 100% solo. And then my wife said, like, you can't stay awake at the dinner table. You need help. Like, yeah, all right. I guess I'll get one of these VA things. I guess it can't be that bad.
The VA things. Matt, let's go through some questions here because I know there's a bunch of people that have asked a bunch of questions. Let's go through this, and we're getting close to 10 o'clock here. It's crazy how time flies on Whiskey Thursday. Todd, you've shared so much information.
He's drinking the Busch Light, so I mean, I'm really you must have gone through a lot of whiskey, right?
I just had one. I had to switch. That was for Whiskey Thursday. I'm done.
There you go. I love it. Love it.
All right. Well, I don't see any of the questions. So, Matt.
No, I'm looking right now. Joe asked
all up to you
earlier. There's not a lot of questions in here.
Well, guys, if you want to learn anything,
this is
your opportunity to ask Todd anything you want because I can guarantee you.
Okay, here we go. Alina says, Todd, without going into specifics, generally speaking, what's a good hook for a seller campaign?
So, good question. And the answer to that is what's in the academy. Home valuation.
There you go.
That's it. Now, what I've done different is rather than what you guys teach, which is like the flyby overhead video, is I go to Google Maps and I just Google that area, whatever that town is, and just, how the little red dots pop up, no matter what it is, it just screenshot. That's it.
So instead of the video, you're doing a screenshot.
Screenshot of Google Maps just with red dots. Like I've done screenshots of the area, and that doesn't seem to work. But if there's red dots on it, for some reason, it seems
interesting.
to make people pay attention.
Yeah, awesome. I think Joe had a question earlier. Are you using ISAs at all?
We already answered it.
Oh, we did? Oh, sorry. I must have been gone. I'm not paying
no,
attention.
you were here.
Well, are you sure?
You were here. Yeah, now who's drinking all the whiskey? No.
No, I typically am the only person that's drinking all the whiskey on a whiskey Thursday.
No ISA, but that will be something that I'm going to add as an upsell into the course as more of like a done for you service. But I have referred, I think probably 15 people over to Gus.
Cool.
Just because I know he does good work, and I don't know if they've contacted him or not, but.
Nice. Joe says, are you basically selling a course?
Yes.
There you go. Simple answer.
It's a course plus other stuff.
Right. It's done with
software.
The course is the hook, basically, is to get them into your ecosystem. Yeah. And
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Joe says, I'm sorry, that was Joe Durillis. Durillis, is that it? I hope. And then Joe Velez says, Todd is doing all of the onboarding, ?
I have so far.
Okay.
I just hired somebody today, paid the Stripe invoice, and that's done. So somebody else is going to be doing that, but they'll take it over. I'm still going to be doing all the support because what I've set it up is like, hey, this is the support number. You call or text when you have a problem, and I can do text messages all day. That's fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is a really good question here from Mike King. Actually, are you using the lead?
Wait. You're missing Doug's. Yep. Doug says, what is your audience? Or I'm guessing, who is your audience, your potential clientele?
Oh, real estate agents.
Real estate agents. There we go. Mike says, Shane, you go ahead. You're excited about that one.
Well, no, I was going to say this is a really good question because you basically put together an entire course, and Mike was asking if you're using the lead follow up and conversion training that's part of the academy.
So I'm using parts of it, right? Like some of the scripts you guys have, but I've added my own spin on things, right? And I've added like a what not to do training.
Nice.
More important than what to do. Because if I see one more agent send a list of homes to somebody, I'm going to explode. Like it is the worst thing you could possibly do, is actually sending a list before you have an appointment with them.
Yeah.
And they do it constantly.
So that the best customer I've ever worked with that has record breaking, and I tell clients this all the time when I talk to them. They never listen, but they basically had like record breaking conversions on their Facebook leads. I've never seen numbers as high as they've had on cold leads, both from Facebook, from Google, and so on. This was their process. Essentially, they had an in-house ISA that was really, really good. They booked an appointment into the office, and if you wanted the list, guess what you had to sign? A BRA. And that was it. Like you don't get shit from us unless you sign a BRA. And that's how they positioned it. Like, listen, if you want us to, go out and research and get the information and bring back the best deals that we can find that are currently on the market, we need you to sign this but like they didn't position like that. I don't really know what the scripts were, but so that team, when I first started talking with them, the ISA alone was responsible for 96 transactions in the span of 4 months.
Wow.
It's crazy. And these were all cold leads.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what they did, is they booked an appointment, but nobody listens, right? Everybody wants to send them a list. Everybody wants to, whatever it is, right? We started, like what I started telling clients, because I started finding it was so difficult. Even clients don't want to even get their buyers to sign BRAs. So the other thing I tell them is don't book an appointment at a house. Don't book an appointment at a coffee shop. Book an appointment in the office, because there's a certain level of professionalism that comes with that, right?
Yeah.
And it's a completely different perception, right? You're seeing team members, you're seeing the broker, you're seeing it's an office space. You look way more professional than meeting at a Starbucks.
Yeah, with Sandra.
From random stranger at a Starbucks, right? If you're meeting at an office, now you're no longer a random stranger. Guess what? Now you're Remax. Now you're KW, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, like I keep telling, you got to get them to sign BRAs. Like, don't start showing houses, or don't even give them a list unless they sign a BRA. Best place to do that is inside the office, like when they're at the office and you're meeting with them, right? Problem is, most of the agents I talk to, it's like, oh, we don't, sometimes we don't want to push BRAs and blah, blah, all this stuff, right? So it's like, okay, we'll never send them a list of homes. At the very least, get them on an auto notification list. At least do that, right? And then hopefully at some point, because we find the best emails that actually convert are the automated notifications, are typically the better ones that convert. Clients see the houses coming in all the time. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to call that agent now because I want to see that house, right? So. Yeah,
and we've got something similar where one of my clients is a top 20 agent in Hawaii, and he does exactly that. But he signs instead of signing like the 8-page BRA, he's come up with this 1-page buyer's agreement, and it's not even a legal binding contract, but it's
loyalty agreement.
Yes, loyalty agreement. Yep. If somebody, hey, are you working with it? If you signed an agreement with any other agent, we're like, well, yeah, I signed this 1-page thing, and all the other agents back off, right? But it's not anything
violation of a code of ethics.
Not with this.
Well, I mean, if you pursue somebody that's
correct, yeah,
contract, right?
Yeah, but this is not contract.
The question when you ask somebody is, have you signed anything obligating yourself to that agent?
Right.
And when you ask that question, they say yes.
Yeah, not many people know that, but this guy does exactly what you talked about, Shane, where it's, let's get into the office. Does Wednesday at 5 and Thursday at 2 work better for you? Which one works? Sit down, sign the thing, and he's a top 20 agent, and he wasn't an agent a year ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Love it.
and it's not anything I'm doing; it's everything he's doing, right?
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Kevin says, Todd, how do you manage your time? This is a great question, actually. So how do you manage your time with the agency and a full-time day job and a family?
Good question. So I get out of bed at 4 a.m. and I go to the office at 4:10 or 4:15 usually. And then I am down here working on whatever I need to work on for the agency, making sure the VA did all of her things until 6. Then I go upstairs. Then the kids are up, and before they went back to school, it was, okay, I'm up here from 6 till 9, right? Then I go down from 9, and my life is controlled by my calendar. So I actually have to sync my agency calendar with my day job calendar. And whichever one's there is what's there, right? Like if I get booked for a demo or something on Friday, then on the agency side, it gets blocked off.
Okay.
Right. But it's only 9 to 5. That's the only time I'm speaking with customers, whether it's for the agency or for the day job, is 9 to 5. After that, 5 o'clock rolls around. I do the dad thing until 8 o'clock. And then I'm usually free, usually back in bed by about 10:30.
Wow. So would you say that like one of the keys to being able to do all that is structure or discipline?
It's not discipline or structure. I mean, it's just calendar. Like there's only so much calendar space in the day. That's it. And I'm not going to kill myself to work these kind of crazy hours, even though I kind of am right now, but it ebbs and flows, right? Because there's times where Saturday and Sunday I'll sleep for 20 hours just to try and catch up. But I have to do that to get to the point where I want to be at to provide for the wife and kids. Like, and I don't want to kind of shit on the parade here, but my father-in-law just got diagnosed with some rare form of leukemia that's going to kill him. Like he will not recover from it. So he might be dead tomorrow morning. It might be 6 months. We have no idea. But his house payment, his mortgage, his bills, his food, his car, like I'm taking all that on. Because of working that hard, now he doesn't have to worry about money for the last 6 months of his life. And I'm not necessarily doing it for him. It's more for my wife, but still nobody else in the family can do that because I put the time in up front to do it. And a lot of people won't do that. And that's what I meant by the blinders is like, you have to be, I don't want a Lamborghini. Like I have a minivan.
Yeah, but I mean, have you seen a
Come on. just for a couple of days.
Like Lamborghinis suck if you can't share it with anybody, right? And
True.
so, you have to take care of the ones you.
But sure, you can share it with us.
I mean, I'm going to get a Corvette here pretty soon, but
ooh, I like it.
I almost got one the other day. It was close. It's a used one. It's not a
right.
new one, but
yeah, I don't think I could buy any vehicle new, so that's just I could never do it.
No way.
But anyways,
well, yeah, great story, Todd. And
well, yeah, and we've got a couple minutes left. Obviously, you like to get to bed at a reasonable time, so tell us a little bit about the future. Where is this going? I mean, you're hitting some crazy numbers. A lot of people would say like you've made it, right? But you clearly are continuing to push. So tell us about some of the goals. What's the future look like?
Yeah. So next step is to do something similar for every B2B industry, right? So I know how to run ads for chiropractors, for dentists, for solar installation, for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be rinse and repeat.
Well, and I love that you said that because earlier we're talking about blinders. So where does that line divide or change, or what happens where you say, this isn't taking away the blinders. This is, angling them out just a little bit or something. I don't know.
Once I am completely working on the business and not in the business, which hopefully here in the next 2 days will be the case, I'm out. And I'm going back and I'm going to open up the microphone and start recording the next one and then redo it because it works.
Love it.
And that's the plan. and then I'm going to get one of those stupid 2 Comma Club awards, and I'm going to cancel my ClickFunnels membership.
Welcome. That's like, welcome to the team.
I'm so sick of paying them $97 a month, but I have to until I get that plaque.
I know, right? Like Matt and I are in the same boat here right now.
Like,
Getting close. Yeah.
You're going in more directions, but you're saying basically the difference is you're not working on that business anymore, or you're not working in that business anymore.
Right. I will have people in place to take care of that for me, which is foreign to me. But now that they're there, it's like, I can work on my opt-in rates now.
And these are VAs. These are in-house. What does this look like? What is this?
So I'll have, by the end of this, I'll probably have 2 or 3 VAs to do the building. I'll have a team to do the onboarding to bring clients in. Eventually I'll have it only is going to require 1 person to do the support for once they do their onboarding, and then the sales team, sales manager, right? And so I'm going to take the sales manager I have now across all the different companies. We just have to recruit salespeople. So out of right now I've got a team of there's 2 full-time and 4 part-time, right? And so when I get that to a team of 5 full-time people taking, how many calls is that? 40 calls a day, then we'll let it run.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a really quick question. Are you just running ads to fill in the calendars? Is that what you're doing? That's it?
Just Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Facebook ads, VSL, webinar. What are you doing?
So definitely a VSL. Everybody and their brother has seen every single, here's the 3 secrets and here's my backstory, and I was homeless and now I'm not. I don't do that. It's the, I forget what I called it, but it's only a 21-minute video.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the promise, proof, and pitch.
And are you selling on the funnel, or are you going to a phone call?
Phone call.
Okay.
Yeah, phone call. So I actually tried selling this course through your traditional webinar, slide presentations and all that. And at the time I spent $5,000 and made $6,000 in like a month.
Mm-hmm.
So $1,000 profit. And for the $200K that I've made so far, I think I've spent like $20,000 in ads. Mm-hmm. And it's all from phone calls.
Love it.
Now there's been a lot of tweaking on figuring out the show up rates and how to not be too aggressive. Like there's a lot of moving pieces that went into place. But it's just a short VSL. Like there's no reason to do a 2-hour video with slides. Like it's me on camera, just talking. And I promise them something great to watch till the end of the video because I know I can track them. And then I prove it with screenshots and proof of everything we've done. And then, okay, now I'm going to ramble for a little bit. And then your special, book a call. And that's it. And I even tell them, like, we're going to sell you our program. So if you don't want to invest, don't book a call. And either they book a call or they don't. Like,
that's awesome.
I mean,
that's awesome.
Joe says, is the sales team local or virtual?
It's all virtual. So half of them are actually in the UK.
Wow.
And it's just from personal relationships. I've not hired anybody I don't know. I'm in talks with somebody to do recruiting for me, to just recruit salespeople and just drop them in.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
It's cool, man. Very good.
That is awesome.
Well, awesome, man. Hey, great show, Todd. Thanks for sharing all that stuff. It's
Thank you guys for having me. Like I said,
absolutely.
Yeah, is there anything else that you want to share that you think is important for anybody else who's getting started?
All right, so I'm going to share some tech wizardry on how to run Facebook ads and get them cheaper. So what you'll do is I call this the 3x launch method. Okay, so when you set up your new Facebook ads, you'll do 3 ad sets that target the exact same audience. Same daily ad spend, same exact thing. You build your first one, duplicate it twice.
CBO
right?
or ABO?
ABO. CBO doesn't work for local.
Yep.
So the way that I do it is I'll build my ad set, targeting, location, daily ad spend. Go and build my ad, right? Same ads that you guys teach. Then I will duplicate that ad twice. Same exact ad copy, just switch out the images. So 3 different images, right? So this one ad set has 3 images. Then I will go and duplicate the ad set 3 more times. or sorry, 3 times total. So there's 3 ad sets with the same 3 images. So now there's 9 images. And then you let that run for 24 hours. And what Facebook will do is they will segment out the different audiences that are in those ad sets, even though you're using the exact same audiences. And it will pick which one of the images works best. And then you just go in and turn off the 2 ad sets that are doing the worst. And you go into the winning ad set and you turn off the 2 ads that are doing worst. And now you just forced Facebook to do its learning phase in 12 or 24 hours versus 4 or 5 days.
And what are you spending in that first 24 hours to get that done? Same amount that you would across the board?
So the client says, I want to spend $10 a day on ad sets, right? So all 3 have $10 a day.
Right. So you're spending $30 in the first 10, like first 24 hours.
And usually you do not have to spend that full amount. Like Facebook will figure it out and show you in the first 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
But that's the trick.
Yep.
Cool.
You know?
I love it. And listen to your Facebook marketing expert, because they're going to tell you how you're competing with your ad sets and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Don't listen to your Facebook marketing expert, for real.
Ever. Don't ever take those calls.
Anyways.
That's awesome. Hey, well, listen, Todd, we're like 2 minutes to 10 here. Really appreciate your time. Typically, we try to end by around 10 o'clock or so. We still got about 21 viewers here. Just really quickly, we haven't talked much about the Academy. Of course, you were part of the beta program, and we really appreciate, all the support that you've provided inside the private group, inside of the big group, and just, we love it. We love seeing people that come into the program just keep doing it, hustling and then trying to figure it out, and then eventually figure it out. And it's, it's been awesome to be part of your journey. It's been very rewarding to be part of your success. Tell, can you, just a couple minutes on, sort of the Academy, what is it that you feel you got the most out of the Academy? What were some of the things that really, really helped you out moving forward? Because I remember the conversation we had. You're already really experienced. You're already running ads. Yeah. You're a sales engineer making 6 figures already. So, like I said, when we were on our call, I felt like you were smarter than me. So I'm like, maybe it should be the other way around, right? But obviously, you found some value in it, and you moved forward and you implemented, and now you're going from $8,000 to $100,000 in 3 months. It's wild. Yeah,
I mean, it was. I remember why I found you guys. It was because you were doing the paid to pitch masterclass.
Oh yeah.
And I remember messaging you because it was like, hey, if I sign up, if I pay for the masterclass right now, do I get it? You're like, well, no, it's not even recorded yet, but all of our beta members get it. Like, well, how much does that cost? And you're like, well, it's $500. I was like, well, send me the invoice, and signed up right there. And then I started going through all the stuff, and it's like, oh my God. Like some of the stuff that you guys have in here, I hadn't even thought of yet. And it's just like the chatbot boot camp, the 3-day boot camp that you guys did, the cold email masterclass, the follow-up training has been, I mean, anytime I hear a client bitch, did you watch the follow-up training? No? Go watch the follow-up training. Like that has saved me so much frustration. I would buy that 10 times over from you guys. Like, the stuff that you teach and the campaigns, the way everything is laid out is so simple to follow. And it just gave me that confidence to be like, look, I know when I push these buttons, it's going to work. Not only that, but the ad exporting trick that you taught inside the Academy on how to export them out, like that's the reason I can do it in 13 minutes. It's because of that, because I'm not starting from scratch every time. I just import, publish. Like that's it. And that has been so invaluable for everything that I'm doing.
Just make sure you don't got campaign IDs in there.
Yeah. Or use the same page that I exported.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple little things you got to watch out for that, for sure.
Little tiny things, but that make a huge problem. But I mean, that stuff alone is just like, why has nobody in this entire, like I've spent probably, close to 6 figures on courses at this point. And not one single person has taught that. Like even think of the best Facebook marketer that was around 2 years ago that's got really blonde hair. Like that was never taught, right? And I paid 13 grand for that course. And for you guys, when I signed up, it's like, I remember, going when we used to do the beta calls, I would be in the airport, and I would get so angry when the calls would run over, because I scheduled my flights around when we were doing those calls. And so I don't know if you remember this, but I was actually on a plane on video talking with you guys, trying to get questions answered. And you guys were answering them. And it's like, well, Todd's on a flight. Let's let him go first, because he's going to have to get airborne soon.
That's awesome.
And that level of support is just amazing. Like there has been 3 programs that I've bought out of the close to $80,000 that I've spent in programs. And you guys are one of those 3. That was worth it. And
for $997.
No.
Well, yeah, you pay. You know what? To be fair, the beta program was never 500.
Was it?
It was No, it's never been $500. It was, and in fact, I could look at your invoice too. But to be fair, it's always been $797.
Okay, that may have been
just in case anybody ever.
For a second.
Well, the beta program was $597, 2 payments of $597, or 1 payment of $797.
May have been. I may have been.
Yeah. So just in case anybody's like, "What the hell? Todd got it for $500? What the?"
Like I said earlier, I'm cheap, so I always take the 2 pay or the 3 pay option, no matter what.
Yeah. So it could have been. Yeah. I mean, we had a couple pay options and stuff, but regardless of that, I mean, obviously, it sounds like it's paid off. You've gotten some great success, and the other thing is we've got another great marketer as part of this this community, which is amazing, and Matt and I always kind of debate about like, oh, should we and there's so much value inside of the academy, like, should we charge 2,000, should we charge 3, 5, we probably could do we did for a long time. We charged 2,000 for it. And we tried at 3,000, right? But the reality is that
we didn't though.
What's that?
We almost did. We did.
Or we almost did. We did, right? But what I think is really cool is that we get people like you that come in here, and even though you paid, $597 or $790, whatever the price was, right?
Yeah.
We get to share in your success, and it's really awesome. And we get another marketer that's part of the community that can continue to help other people out, and it's awesome.
10 people that can get the one-on-one coaching calls, like that will be the best money that you spend. And I'm not kidding, because I remember the one-on-one call that we had, because I was in my truck and I didn't really take it seriously, because I was moving my brother-in-law at the time. It was right around Christmas, 2 years ago, and I had to pull over, and I was just like, shut up, like I need to listen to what Shane has to say, because it's that important. And like I would pay 4 or 5 times what everybody's paying right now just to get another one of those.
Everybody's paying nothing, because Matt said, "Hey, let's give away some coaching calls." Like, oh my God, come on! What are you doing? Anyways, it is what it is. Well, whatever. We still have fun at it, right? So, yeah. Well, listen, guys, if you're still watching Whiskey Thursday, and you've been here since the beginning, #SuperTrooper. We want to know, who are our loyal Whiskey Thursday followers, watchers, whatever you want to call them, right? And
make it all the way to the end.
Yeah. And if you're catching us from YouTube, make sure to come check us out inside the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. It's a free group. We got 14,000 members now, or close to 14,000 members. We do this every single Thursday night, 8 p.m. And we got guys like Todd come on here and share some secrets and some tips and just their journey inside of, working the real estate industry. And next week we've got, who's here next week, Matt? Is it Bound?
Next week?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I just closed it out.
I forget I got to bring up the list, because, I should have the list handy, but I think
it's Aaron Martinez.
Oh, Aaron Martinez. That's going to be exciting. That's going to be a great show. Don't miss that show. I'm pretty sure that Aaron's going to share some stuff about YouTube videos, because he's doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
Aaron next week. We got Bal the week after, and Ravi is back on the 17th.
Woo,
so, Ravi! Stuff happening.
Yeah, and what's really interesting with Ravi is that when I just spoke to him, and I asked him if he has some time, like, hey, can you come back on Whiskey Thursday? Let's get you, he's like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it, right? And Ravi was episode number 2 of Whiskey Thursday, and it's wild how long, like, we've been doing this for a while, because Todd, I think you're episode like 88. So
Ravi,
yeah.
His masterclass is awesome.
Yeah.
The masterclass is so
Absolutely.
good.
And Ravi, he's kind of transitioned into like providing, like, he's got his scaling with systems program right now, which is a $5 or $6 or maybe $10,000 program that he's got. He's going to come on Whiskey Thursday, talk about building systems and hiring VAs and things like that. So it should be a really good Whiskey Thursday. We're excited to get him back onto the show. So that should be awesome. Yeah, and Ravi's blowing up. Like, I don't know if you've been on YouTube recently, but the only ads I get are Ravi's ads. So, and every ad is about him counting his money. Anyways, yeah, we got a bunch of super troopers here. Franklin, Douglas, Joe, awesome. Mike King, good stuff, guys. Nice to see you guys here. So, Todd, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us for 2 hours. It's been a blast, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do here in 3 months. Who wants to have Todd back on in 6 months, right?
I'll be here.
Let's see what you've accomplished in 6 months. If you've been able to do this in 3 months.
I said we have Todd on. We'll have to send him the link. Let's get him on. Let's figure it out right now, Todd. It's going to be January 7th.
I think I'm free that day, so send me an invite.
January 7th, we're bringing you back on. And let's make a prediction here. Prediction, right?
Don't jinx me.
All right.
Okay.
Don't count it. My ad account will get banned or something like that. Just don't.
It's all good. Well, listen, Todd, thank you so much for again coming on Whiskey Thursday. Everybody that's been watching, really appreciate you guys coming on and supporting us and our guests that are on here, the Academy, and so on. Of course, if you haven't joined the Academy yet, you're missing out. But and Matt, of course, it's always a blast hanging out with you, right? Yes, next week.
All right, it's been a good time.
Hey, listen, if you don't have your T-shirt next week, I'll wire you over $1,000. How's that?
Wow. You guys heard it here.
Wow.
Man, I'm hoping you
it's on
said
its way. It's on its way. Like, no. I take that back. If the shipping doesn't get screwed up.
Oh man. Stick around, Todd. We'll catch up after this. Shane, cool. Let's wrap it up.
Take it easy,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Recording's off.